haunting for 24 years. Ever since I was 13. Don't do the math, just don't. Well, it's born out of two loves, really. I've always loved the interactiveness and the horror and the excitement of haunting. I love scaring people, but I'm also really into interactive theater. And so Nightmare was born of wanting to put everything I'd always ever wanted in a haunt, from the theater, from stage combat, from dance, from the FX makeup, from the special effects, from the intimate atmosphere, from the scares, all into one show. And Nightmare is very unique. By its very nature, it has to remain small because we have an integrated narrative. We have trained actors, we have trained stage combatants who you can hear grunting in back of me. Hear them? Yeah. And so the incorporation of live stage combat, the narrative throughput, not the screaming really, the screaming is very generic. We work on our acting, we work on our timing, we're working at building characters who the audience ends up caring about a great deal when most of the time they die. When we relaunched in 2009 under the auspices of the South Burlington Rotary Club, all of a sudden we had the commercial success that we've been looking for. We were hoping for 1,000 people, and we're like, if we got 1,000 people, there's really an audience for this, and we should keep doing it. If we can't get 1,000 people, like, you know, maybe we should just stay small. But we sold 1,000 tickets before we even opened, and they kept coming. We also get newbies who kind of wander in nervously off the street, and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, some of them, you know, we see some little glimmer in them, we get them in a role, and suddenly they bloom in horror as they've never bloomed before, and it's beautiful and wonderful, and we've got them for life after that. In general, I think the most rewarding thing for me is the community that Nightmare creates each year. Like, people always refer to this as the Nightmare family. You know, when we go to parties and people invite a few Nightmare folks, we all kind of like gravitate towards one another and start talking shop. You can always tell the Nightmare crowd in a crowd. But I think specifically the most fulfilling thing for me is bringing other women into haunting. Being a female proprietor of a haunt is very unusual. It's a heavily male-dominated industry and recreational activity. And I've found a lot of liberation being a woman in haunting because, you know, as a woman, you know, to a certain extent, we're all kind of taught to like be appealing and be pleasing and to be beautiful and to be polite. And haunting really gives us permission to leave all of that in the dust and to be actively offensive. And gloriously off-putting, and gloriously powerful in soliciting reactions from people and being so overwhelming to them that they scream and run away. Eyes, turning on the doll's eyes. Keep them writhing, keep them writhing. Yeah, love the banging. I'm gonna get you guys some lead pipe. And then we have the stuffy suit, get up.
My name's Steven Andresano. I'm playing the role of the surgeon. This is actually my scene and my chairs, which is super fun. It's intense. But I had to discourage my mom from coming up to like come see me. She's like, "Oh, I have to see your first like acting thing." I'm like, "No, you don't. No, you really don't."
Ah, Marcus. We thought we lost you. Ooh, think a lot about this.
It's interactive. Like my scene personally has been very difficult to rehearse just because so much of it is going to be me, like, for lack of a better word, I guess, intimidating audience members, which is just like, that's not something, you don't get that very personal connection when you're working on the stage, for better or for worse. And then this haunted house like experience thing, as opposed to other ones, we have a script. Like, that's not something that other haunted houses have. Like, we have like a plot line that you follow through, and I think that it adds a lot of power to it, because it's not just, things are jumping out at me. It's like, oh god, things are happening that are distressing, but like, I understand them to be distressing. It's not like, you can't walk through and just like close your eyes and not be affected. Like, it's really well made.
He's only 10. Dark hair, please! Please!
I remember him. Little guy. Out cold. Time to have his bone marrow sucked out for stem cells.
No!
Wonderful stuff, that bone marrow. I believe his cardiac resurrection. Alright, we're gonna need some privacy in here. Both of you look like you could use some sedatives.
This is actually my first acting experience, which is kind of crazy.
I've been away for a couple of days. Work. Good thing my amphetamine isn't running low. I'm as high as a kite right now, but I'm so not tired.
This is it's completely volunteer. We're completely non-for-profit. We're actually partnered with the South Burlington Rotary. So last year, I want to say they raised like $10,000 or something. 5,000 of those went to a battered women's shelter, and the other 5,000 were distributed to like Red Cross and like Doctors Without Borders. So yeah, I don't see a cent, and that's completely fine. I get to be part of a really unique production and then know that my efforts are going to help other people.
Didn't actually know I'd be doing this today. This was news to me. So.
What are you doing?
These are going to be our organs that we take out of people.
Right now, so I'm gonna call it. Let's do places top of the show. We run in 2. Clear the hallways. Places top of the show. We run in 2.
Nightmare on 3. No.
Oh, come on.